In this video, I cover a $650 gaming PC featuring Ryzen 5 and the RX 580. This PC can play games at 1080p max settings and can also do some entry-level 1440p gaming. Without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. So hey guys, this is TeamOverclocked back at it with another video. Today I'll be showing you a great $650 gaming PC. This PC can play the latest titles like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and even things like Hitman 2 at 1080p high to ultra settings with around 60 FPS. This is a very nice experience and I'm sure most gamers will be more than satisfied by this experience. So with that out of the way, let's get right into the build itself. For the CPU, I decided to go with the Ryzen 5 2600 for $145. This is a 6-core 12-thread CPU that comes clocked at 3.4 GHz with a boost clock of 3.9 GHz. This is also unlocked so you can overclock it to max out its potential. Since this has 6 cores, you can easily multitask with the CPU. So you can have like a game open, a Discord server, and even like a few Chrome tabs, and you're not going to see any major hits on your gaming performance, which is nice to know. Also, since it does have 6 cores, 12 threads, it also makes it a great CPU for video editing because video editing really needs as many cores as you can give it, and the fact that this has 6 cores and 12 threads means that it's going to be very good for those kinds of uses. All around, this is a great CPU for both gaming and content creation. For the CPU cooler, I decided to go with the DEEPCOOL GAMMAXX 400 for $20. Now you might be wondering, why didn't I just stick with the Wraith cooler? Well, the Wraith cooler is nice, but it's not a great choice because it can make the 2600 run close to 75 to 80 degrees Celsius under load, which is not ideal. With the CPU cooler, you get more overclocking headroom simply because it can cool the CPU to a lower temperature under load, and it's going to make your PC quieter overall, which makes this a well worth it option. If you really want to save some money, you could leave out the CPU cooler, but I wouldn't recommend it simply because the CPU cooler offers better overclocking headroom, and you can even use this in future PC builds, so I think it's a worthy investment. For the motherboard, I went with the ASROCK B450M HDV for $65. This is a micro ATX motherboard that has 2 RAM slots, 4 SATA 6GB/s ports, and an M.2 slot. This should satisfy all your connectivity needs, and it's pretty nice that you can add an M.2 SSD in the future. This motherboard also comes with a B450 chipset, which is important because this chipset allows you to overclock your CPU, which is important since we have a unlocked Ryzen 5 in this PC. All around, this is a great motherboard for a great price. For the RAM, I went with the GEIL Evo POTENZA 16GB set for $60. This is a 2x8GB set clocked at 3000 MHz. Now, Ryzen-based PCs really benefit from multi-channel and high-frequency RAM, which is why it's important they get something like a dual-channel kit like this one, and a higher-frequency one like this one. Generally speaking, a normal or standard frequency for DDR4 is around 2133 MHz, so if you can get something above that, it's really going to be beneficial for your CPU. Also, the 16GB capacity on this is going to be good enough for all the latest titles, and it's also going to be great because you can do some content creation with this without really hitting any major issues. Since RAM has been pretty cheap recently, I really think that you can't go wrong with this. For the hard drive, I decided to go with the Western Digital CAVIAR Blue 1TB for $45. This is a 7200 RPM hard drive that has 64 MB of cache. Now this is nothing special, it's going to perform about as fast as an average desktop hard drive, and it's just going to be here to store all of your games, movies, and media files, so I really think that this is a good fit into this build. Even then, I decided to add an SSD, which is the TeamOverclocked 512GB SSD for $46. This is going to be perfect for your OS and some important applications. Since this is an SSD, it's going to be more reliable than your hard drive, and it's also going to be faster, which is why it's important to put all of your important applications and files onto this, as it will speed up load times and make it more secure. Since SSDs are cheap right now, I really think that this is something that you should absolutely put into your build. For the graphics card, I decided to go with the XFX Radeon RX 580 for $180. This comes clocked at 1366 MHz and has a TDP of 185 watts. Overclocking on this should be a breeze since it features an excellent cooler and has a decent amount of power delivery. This also comes with 8GB of GDDR5 VRAM, which is great because more and more games are using more and more VRAM, so it's nice to have that 8GB frame buffer. In terms of performance, this can easily handle games at 1080p max with very playable frame rates. At 1440p, you can get away with it with this GPU, but you will have to turn down settings to get a playable frame rate. Now if you're playing lighter games or older games, then yeah, this GPU will easily handle 1440p, especially in games like League and Dota 2. But no matter what resolution you play at, this is going to be a great GPU. For the case, I went with the Cooler Master MASTERBOX LITE 5 for $46. This is a nice looking case that comes with a clear side panel. Now while the side panel does look like it's tempered glass, it's actually acrylic, but that doesn't mean it doesn't look nice. Although this is not the most expensive case, it is a really nice case because it comes with features like a PSU shroud, and it has plenty of room for cable management, meaning that building inside this case is not going to be very hard, and you can easily have a very nice looking PC inside this case. It also comes with all the standard front I/O like USB ports, headphone jacks, and a power reset button. All around, this is a great case to build in, and it gets the job done at a great price. Last but definitely not least, for the power supply, I went with the SEASONIC 550W power supply for $49. This is an 80+ bronze rated power supply that comes with two 8-pins and a variety of other connectors. Since it has two 8-pins, you really aren't limited by what kind of GPU you get, besides of course the wattage. Now the CPU isn't modular, but since this case has a PSU shroud, it's not really going to be an issue. Also the cables are all black, so they look pretty sleek as well. SEASONIC makes some of the best power supplies on the market, and this is also 80+ bronze rated, so by buying this you're getting a very good and reliable power supply. Once again, I'll have links to everything I've mentioned in the description, so check that out if you're interested. But yeah guys, that's all for today. If you liked the video, please be sure to hit the like button. If you didn't like it, please dislike this video and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.